Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how I use these mmWave sensors, in particular the LD2410C, which is the Bluetooth version. I'll also show you that you don't need to write complicated ESPHome code and you can just simply connect it to a binary sensor. We'll also bring this into Home Assistant as a standalone detection, and I'll show you all the settings that I set up for when I use them in my home and office. Thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Remember, great products start with great manufacturing. Need a small run of PCBs? PCBWay's got you covered with high quality boards starting from just $5. But wait, that's not all. They can also assemble your components too and bring your projects to life hassle-free. And remember, it's not only PCBs. There's no need to order from a range of vendors, as PCBWay can do it all with their range of 3D printing and metal fabrication services. Whether you need FDM, metal, SLS printed, or even SLA, they've got the technology, the materials, and the power to bring your designs into the physical world. PCBWay is your one-stop shop for all things prototyping and manufacturing. Use the link in the description and unlock your creativity today. Most tutorials that you'll find will connect this up to an ESP32 or an ESP8266, and then you've got all these controls in Home Assistant. Well, I'm here to show you that you don't need to do any of that, and here's my simple setup. First of all, I'm going to power it up. So we've got VCC and ground there. So let's add a bit of solder. And I'm also going to put a blob of solder on the out. Also in today's bag of tricks, I've got a blue LED with a series resistor on the positive leg. That I'm going to put across the negative pin, which is this longer one here, onto the ground. And the positive is going onto the out. I'm just going to take that on. It's not going to stay. It's just going to be for an indication of what's going on. To make my life easier and to stop it from detecting me, I put it into a bit of voltage just to have it sticking directly up. Got my variable power supply here, and we'll switch on. As you can see, I'm running this on 3.3 volts. They'll run on 5 volts quite happily. And let's turn the light down so we can see that LED. And let's go to my desktop. Around the studio here, I've got various Bluetooth proxies running. If I go down to settings, devices and services, we can see that it's found a new device. We're going to add that. We're going to submit. So I'm going to put this in my test area. We can see this has been detected all the time. And if we go into here, we can see we've got motion detected and occupancy detected. So we've got all these extra settings here. I'm not really going to use any of these in my application, so we'll get rid of that. Certainly don't need all of these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to disable it. On my phone, I've got the app installed. And then you can see that same device has popped up. So I'm going to open that up. And there's a couple of things I want to change. First of all, let's get rid of this auto thing out of the way. I'm going to go to more parameter settings, and I'm going to set this to 0.02 meters. So what that's going to do, that's going to give me a shorter detection range. For most of the time, I don't really want to detect stuff across the room like a PIR. If you do, keep it to this 0.75. So I'm going to restart the device, and then it will go back to the list again. It'll reconnect via Bluetooth, and we'll open it up. And then we'll just move this out of the way. I'll put it down the bottom actually. Now remember I said in Home Assistant there's a couple of things that we don't get. One of the things that I change is this detection duration. This is a reset time for detection to not detecting, a bit like the PIR cycle time. I'm going to set it to 1 second for this demo. So I'm just going to set that and then we're okay that. So that's all I want to do in that page. So let's go back and we'll turn on engineering mode. And what that will give us is a live update on both the static and the moving targets. So here we can see the blue line is the detection. The pink or purple lines there, that's the threshold. So what I want to do is I want this detector to be detecting only close objects. So if I go to set, and I'm going to do this for both of these, and here we have the energy level threshold for the different depths that this sensor is detecting. So remember I set this to 0.02, that's 20 centimeters. So each one of these is 20 centimeters from the detector. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn all these up apart from the first two, and I'm going to set both of these to 50%. 51, that'll do. So I hit enter there, hit OK there, and then you see this hasn't changed, so we have to hit the refresh. This purple line is now all the way to the top. This is a bit counterintuitive because it's the threshold. What that means is that this blue line has to go over the purple line for it to be triggered. And I'm going to do the same for the static. So again, 100% for all of these. And then the last two, I'm going to make 50. We'll OK that, we'll OK that. And again, we'll refresh. So as you can see, both the moving target and the static target have similar lines. So I'm going to move away from my device. And you can now see the blue line on both the moving target and the static target are below the purple line, which is the threshold. And also you can see at the top there, in the top left, the bubble is green. And next to it, you can see moving target and static target. They're both off. So you can see if I move my hand in front of it, the light comes on. And you can see that in this case, if I keep moving, the moving target blue line is above our purple line there for 0 and 1. I'm roughly 40 centimeters away. And if I go up, you can see that the line further down, which is further away from the sensor, starts going up. So if we go to more parameter settings, on the detection range, I'm going to put it all the way down. So as you can see there, that's 0.4 meters, which is 40 centimeters. So I'm going to OK that. Go back to here. We'll hit the refresh again. And then we'll wait for the unmanned duration here, which I've set to 1 second. Right, so let's zoom out. So this time we can see that the blue line for moving is pretty much 0. I'm a little bit far away from this sensor, so it's picking me up sometimes. The static target's probably picking up my camera. However, if I move my hand in, if I come in front of the camera, so you can see me, it's not detected anything because that blue line for 0, 1 and 2 has not peaked above that threshold yet. So if I start coming down, you can see that that static line has just peaked above the purple in regions 1 and 0. And if I get closer, you can see that it's triggered. So I've basically got a sensor which is detecting me roughly 40 odd centimeters. And then I've got if I trigger it, it will go off after 1 second. And you can see that on the LED here, as well as this little bubble up the top there. So let's make this even more sensitive. So I'm going to go to here. You see now we've only got 3 numbers because we set the moving target and the static target gates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set number 1 to 100%. I'm going to set that also to 100%. And again, we'll refresh. So now you can see that if the blue line goes above the purple line, but only at 0, then it's going to trigger. So if I come in here, you can see that the blue line's not got over the purple line in both instances. As I come nearer, you can see now that it's triggered. So here, I'm about, 30 centimeters. So if I come above here, it's not triggered. If I get a little bit lower, then it triggers. So I can set the distance at which this sensor triggers. So if I come right up here, to the right above the camera, it won't see me. And as I come lower, still not seeing me, a little bit lower, and now it's detected me. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close the app down on my phone. We'll go back to Home Assistant and we'll re-enable it. These will only connect to one Bluetooth device at a time. So now the app's closed, Home Assistant is able to find it again. And if we go back to our sensors, we can see that this is now clear. And again, if I go high above the sensor, it's not detecting me. As I start getting lower, you see the lights come on there. It's motion detected and occupancy is detected. And if I stay here, that light will stay on, but I'll try and stay as still as possible. I won't be able to do it because these sensors are really sensitive. And then when I go away again, the light will go off and you'll see both these entities are now clear. So unlike a PIR, I can set the distance at which it triggers. So far away, no, close, yes. So then we've got that set up in Home Assistant. If I go back to my phone, you can see that it won't detect anything, again, because these sensors will only allow one Bluetooth connection at a time. So that once it's connected to Home Assistant, no one else can load up in the app and start changing things. The only way I can get this to load in the app, if I go back to here and disable it, and as you can see there, it almost immediately popped up on my phone in the app. So again, we can open that up. And let's say again, we'll move that down. Let's say our unmanned duration is too quick. So we go to more, parameter settings, again, unmanned detection. Let's set that to, this will go up to 2 minutes. So let's set that to, let's say 5. We'll set that, we'll OK that. We'll go back to here, we'll go back, close the app, like so. So then we set that to 5 seconds. So let's re-enable this. So that'll take 5 seconds to go off now. Again, we'll trigger it. 3, 4, 5, off. So again, we've got the same distance. Up here, no detection. Down here, detection. And then 5 seconds later, that LED will go off and the entities go off. So as you can see, this out pin is going high. when it's detecting and while it's detecting presence. I've got a few projects coming up that use these sensors, both Bluetooth into Home Assistant for its automation and using that output pin as a binary sensor directly into Home Assistant for local sensing in ESPHome local automations. So get subscribed and we'll see you in the next one. Well, I hope this video was helpful for your projects. Please do share it so others can find it as well. I upload videos whenever I can, so subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified. That's it. Thanks for watching.
Okay.